Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about The Pale White by Chad Lutzke. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name, but that's how I'm saying it. This is from Crystal Lake Publishing, and this is a story about three females. I say females because there's an age range. I'm just going to, right off the back of the book, Alex, a hardened goth punk who's convinced she's a vampire with a penchant for blood. Stacia, I had to look up the pronunciation of that. Stacia, a 17-year-old raised by an alcoholic mother. Her fellow captives, the only family she's ever truly had. And Cammy, the youngest of the three, a mute who finds solace in a houseplant. So these three females are being held captive by a guy they call Doc, and basically he's pimping them out is the way to put it. They sleep all day, and at night men come over and they do whatever those men want them to do. And they're held captive. If they're punished, if they do something wrong, they don't get fed. They live in the attic, and they, at the beginning of the story, decide that they're going to try to escape. And then the story goes from there. Now, love that cover. Just throw that out there right now. This is a book that's been on my radar for a while. It was on my Amazon wish list. Hadn't picked it up for various reasons. Just, never had the extra money to do it. And then I heard some folks talking about it on the Ghoulish Podcast with Max Booth III, a host, and found out that it was inspired by the true story of three women that were being held captive in Cleveland, which is just that way, just a little northeast of where I'm at right now. And so that was the kick in the pants, finding out that it was based on that story, or inspired by, not based at all, but inspired by that story, was the kick in the pants I needed to pick this up, and I'm very glad I did. It's a well-written story. You can see it's very thin. It's just a novella. See? Just a little tiny book. But it's well written. The characters are interesting, and the story goes in directions I didn't expect. I would love to talk to the author just about the choices that he made for the story and the things that I expected to happen that didn't happen. There are a number of places where I'm reading along and something happens or somebody says something and I'm like, oh, what if this is what happens next? And then it went off in whatever direction it went off in. I'm not going to say. Well, there were times that I thought that, and that's not the way it went. A number of times, as a matter of fact. But I could see an ending. I can't say I expected an ending, but I kind of thought of an ending that would be possible and make sense, and that's not the way it went. There was one particular spot where something happened, and I was like, holy crap, is this going to happen next? And, well, again, not going to tell you if it did or not, but, and to me, that's the sign of a good story. It was not predictable, because otherwise, every time I thought, oh, is this what's going to happen? That's what would have happened. And I can say at least that it did not happen every time. Not going to tell you if it happened at all. It may have, may not have. I'm not saying. But I would love to talk to the author, to Chad Lutzke. At the very least, I could ask him how he pronounces his last name. I'd love to talk to him and just pick his brain about this story. And it's, as I said, it's well written. I'm definitely going to have to pick up more of the author's books. He has one called Skullface Boy. I believe that's the title, that has, again, been on my wish list for a long time. This is an author that's been on my radar for a while. And now I'm definitely, after reading this, I'm definitely going to pick up more of his stuff. It's a quick read. I read it in one day. And even with a book this short, I don't necessarily read it in one day because, I'm doing other things. But something like this, it was compelling. It's 98 pages. It's compelling. I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I wanted to see if my guesses were correct. And that's the sign of good writing, of a good story. So, yeah, that's it. As usual, when I've got something this tiny, the video ends up being tiny as well. So, yeah, that's The Pale White, Chad Lutzke, Crystal Lake Publishing. Highly recommended. I really need to check Goodreads before I do these videos. I'm assuming I gave it 5 stars. If I didn't, it's got to be at least 4.5, even though you can't give half stars on Goodreads. So, if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, if you know how to pronounce the author's name, down in the comments below. We can talk spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here. I will have a link for the book in the description below. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. I think that covers everything. So, this has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.